It is not that some outside entity comes and shines light to make us aware of what's going on. Awareness is ever present as our own nature. Self inquiry is simply a process to reveal that which is ever present in us as our true nature. It is not trying to gain anything new. The process is simple and direct, but it does not seem easy because of the innate tendencies of the mind. Simple and easy are two different things. The process is simple and direct because it is the realization of the ever present awareness that is our own true nature. We are not trying to learn a new skill or acquire a new set of knowledge or talent or anything of that nature. We are simply looking at what already is as our own nature. To abide as what already is, we just have to see past that which comes and goes that we always get caught up in. If we look at it with discerning eyes, then it's fairly obvious that everything comes and goes. Not just thoughts and emotions, but even our physical body itself is not the same. Moment to moment, everything changes. Everything comes and goes. In this context, there is a beautiful quote by the great Buddhist philosopher Nagarjuna. He says, "There is no such thing as impermanence because nothing comes into being to even be impermanent." Buddhism normally emphasizes impermanence. However, Nagarjuna here turns it on its head to say that even impermanence is only an idea, only a concept, because in truth, nothing stays even for a moment before it can go. Everything is in constant flux every moment, every cell, every atom, every particle, everything is in constant flux. I remember a small Zen story which also emphasizes the same point. There were two Zen monks who came to a river, and the first monk said, "You can never step into the same river twice," emphasizing the impermanence of the water flowing in the river. To that, the second monk said, "You can never step into the same river even once," which is what Nagarjuna says here, that there is nothing there to even be impermanent because every moment it forms and unforms before even it can take any shape. This is true from the micro to the macro level. Interestingly, Gaudapada, an ancient Advaitic master, also said something almost exactly similar. He said, "That which was not and that which will not be does not exist even now. The apparent existence, even, is only a fleeting optical illusion." Now, there are those who endlessly debate about the philosophical differences between the various schools, such as Buddhism and Advaita, non dualism, and all that. But if we really look at it not as a philosophical concept, but as our own living experience and approach it with that intent, we look at the two core viewpoints we saw here. Both of them touch the same ground. And the same ground that they touch is that everything that seems to appear, in fact, doesn't have any substantive existence. Now, it's important to note that this is not to make any theoretical speculation that the world is an illusion or something like that. That's not the intent. Despite the illusory nature of existence, it seems real to us in everyday life, and we deal with the world transactionally as necessary. Simply to talk about the world as an illusion may be an interesting philosophical exercise in speculation, but we can get caught up in just a theoretical understanding without touching the way we live. The primary intent here of self inquiry, of looking into this sincerely, is to simply recognize that everything does come and go, and therefore nothing has any substantial existence for us to get caught up in, even though they do matter at a transactional level in our everyday lives. We have to pay the bills, we have to take the trash out, we have to follow the traffic rules, so on. We just don't have to get caught up in it. We have to deal with whatever comes up from moment to moment as we transact in this world. So, the key insight to look into is that while the transactions in the apparent reality of this world happen as we respond to sensory and thought perceptions, and they are always fleeting and impermanent, coming and going constantly, there is an underlying, ever present, unchanging reality. That is the light of awareness which illuminates all that comes and goes. Our actions, our thoughts, all our emotions, everything is conceived and enacted in this canvas of awareness. To take a simple metaphor, this awareness can be likened to the light in the room we are in. The light in the room illuminates everything, and yet it is self illuminated. It just simply remains unconcerned with what's going on in the room, and yet without the light, nothing can be seen or perceived. Now, this light is simply the awareness within us which illuminates all our thoughts, words, and actions. Without this, there is no perception of anything, inside or outside. Thoughts, actions, sensory inputs, all of it. And yet, this awareness, much like the light remaining untouched by whatever it illuminates, this awareness is untouched by all the coming and going of perceptions and actions. So, the key realization is that this awareness that never comes and goes, that always remains and illuminates everything else that comes and goes, this is our unchanging being. Awareness then is not something that we need to go find anywhere because that is our own very nature. We don't have to read any book, we don't have to study any scripture, we don't have to gain any new knowledge or anything like that because we can see that it is our own light of awareness that illuminates whatever is. To take the metaphor of the light one level further is to see that even the idea of a witness is ultimately not right. Because just as the light is not witnessing what is going on, it simply illuminates everything, but itself remains unconcerned. It is not watching, as it were, everything that comes and goes, though everything does come and go only in the light. There is no duality between the light and what is being witnessed. Similarly, awareness illuminates everything that comes and goes, but it is not concerned with watching everything that comes and goes. If we extend the metaphor to see that, or to conceive that everything that comes and goes is itself a form of light, let's say like the images on a screen, then that's more like what we are talking about. Awareness illuminates everything that comes and goes, and everything that comes and goes itself is a form of awareness itself, like the form of light. It takes the shape of various thoughts, emotions, and even physical objects, and it comes and goes, while the light of awareness that underlies everything remains untouched. So, when we are having an interaction in the physical world, or even in the subtle realm of the dream world while sleeping, or even while sitting awake and daydreaming, thinking, all these interactions are illuminated simply by our own awareness. It is not that some outside entity comes and shines light to make us aware of what's going on. Awareness is ever present as our own nature, whether there is any content in the mind or even when the mind is silent with no content. When there is no content, there is silence, and this silence is illuminated by awareness. And when there is content, the content is illuminated by awareness. Regardless, the awareness remains always present and untouched.